Hey everyone, it's Todd Milewski from the State Journal here in South Bend, Indiana at Compton Family Ice Arena. Here to wrap up a 3-2 Notre Dame victory over the Badgers in Game 2 of the Big Ten quarterfinals. A game that went right down to the wire, Notre Dame scoring with 20.7 seconds to go. A really nice play by Spencer Stastny, getting the puck behind the net and then going in front with it to Trevor Janicki for the winner. A defensive breakdown is how the Badgers reference it, especially Tyler Inamoto, who took the blame on himself, which, I mean, there was more blame than on one guy to go around. But, being the fifth-year player that he is, the alternate captain, he took that upon himself to say it was my bad on that play and that forced Game 3, which will be tomorrow night, Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 here in South Bend. Winner to go on to the semifinals. If Notre Dame wins, they would go to Michigan. If the Badgers win, they would go to Minnesota next Saturday for the semifinals. That's a one-game shot. Just like it is here on Saturday, I guess, or on Sunday. And it was, the Badgers, I think they feel like they could have done better in the first period. Fell behind 2-0 despite a pretty sizable shots and shot attempts advantage. But, we've seen the Badgers fall behind by a couple goals, and that's really been it. But that wasn't the case here tonight. Power play got them going. Even though they weren't able to capitalize in the first period, they had was it 4 power plays in the first period, including a 5-on-3 that they didn't capitalize. But in the second period, they got one through Roman Ashan on their 5th power play, and then in the third period, Carson Bantle scored at the net front to make it 2-2, but the Irish got the last blow in this one tonight to send it the distance in this series. So we will await that one after a couple of really physical games in the first 2 here. You have to imagine that's going to continue, but there's some got to be tired bodies going in the third and 3 nights, with one team's season on the line and the other team playing for keeping their Big Ten both teams are playing to keep their Big Ten championship hopes on the line or alive. But Wisconsin's season is over if they lose. Notre Dame can still get in the NCAA tournament even if they don't advance. Let me get into a couple of these questions because some of them deal, as I look at them here, deal with that physical play. Tyler Inamoto predicted a war tomorrow after the first 2 days, and so that intensity you would imagine is going to be ratcheted up again for Game 3, knowing everything that's at stake. Tanner says, in the past 2 games, what are your thoughts on Game 3? Badgers have a chance. I would definitely say so after seeing them the last 2 nights. Wasn't expecting that Friday night, but getting out to a lead and playing with it for a while and then getting a response when Notre Dame scored, made them pretty good. And obviously Jared Moe playing well was a big thing. He played well again tonight. They got a couple past him in the first period, but it seemed to be pretty good shots. But he had a lot of activity around him again, and he helped. He stood in there and took some punishment, it looked like, and kept the puck out of the net for the most part. I do think the Badgers have a chance. This was their better chance, I think, rather than going 3 games against a team at home. But after seeing the way that the Badgers came back from down 2-0 tonight, I can't rule anything out. So. And also seeing how they came back from losing the 2 games at Minnesota last week to win on Friday tells me that there's a lot possible here. If it's a 1-game shot, take your chances, right? Eric, with some real talk, as advertised here. If the Notre Dame guy who hit Ryder Donovan was wearing a red sweater with number 13 on the back, he would have been sent to the showers. That has been a major for the Badgers all year long. I've got to go take another look at it. I was typing when I saw I think they showed a replay here. My stream wasn't working on my tablet, so I didn't get a chance to look at that either. I have had some people tell me that yes, if that had been Roman Ashan delivering a hit, he would have been out of the game because I believe that was Jesse Lansdell for Notre Dame. Again, I have to go back and look, but at real speed, it was two guys going for the same hit. It looked like to me. No, that may not be the case. Those fractions of a second at the end of it change things when you get to look at them on review. But it turned out to be a pretty devastating hit for Ryder Donovan. Tony Granato says he won't play in Game 3, and that was one of the marks of this series is that it's been punishing, and Donovan took the worst of it in that one. I don't, if the referees didn't look at it, I would say, the league might have a chance to step in and say something before Game 3. But they went in and looked, they had to look at it and apparently weren't willing to call a major penalty because that's all they could do. If they didn't have a penalty on the play, they could not elevate. They could not just call a minor penalty after review. It had to be a major. They didn't see it that way, and so they played on. Lydia asked if Kuhlman's okay. Said he needed help to the bench a couple times tonight. Yeah, he got rocked pretty good in the last minute and a half of the second period by Landon Slaggart, who got ejected after replay. And the Badgers got the 5-minute major power play that Carson Bantle used in the third period then to score to tie the game. But it looked like he got rung pretty good. He was back. He went right to the locker room, but was back out for the start of the third period and was on the power play. I don't know. There wasn't much said about him in the post game, but we'll be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Eric mentions that Josh S will likely play forward tomorrow. I mean, that's a little bit of where they're at. Yeah, he's played forward shifts after the Badgers lost Donovan tonight, which, I mean, it's just the center core is decimated. No Baker, Lindmark since November, taking Donovan out, who they have moved into a center role, needing centers. It's after game 36, it's been pretty brutal on the Badgers centers this season, and they're going to have to piece something together tomorrow to be able to get through it. Pelton limited this weekend. I noticed that he got a few shifts, but they were using Luke Lemaster a lot more as the game went on tonight. And then Kuhlman's in and out. I mean, if we saw at the end, it was Inamoto and I believe it was Anthony Kerr. They have on the wrong player on the plus minus on that one. They had Kuhlman's out on the ice for that one, but that was definitely Inamoto at the back post. And so, mixing and matching those D pairs is just kind of how they're going to have to do it. Brent says Notre Dame wished Wisconsin won a game last week. I think last weekend's series really fired Wisconsin up. You would hope it did something, right? Brian, strange question, but is it same officiating crew entire series? Not necessarily. And this is something I don't know the Big Ten protocol on this. You would think that, yes, these guys are in town, they'll work all 3 games. But back in the WCHA days, there was an opportunity if a series went 3 games for the crew to be changed out for Game 3. That would be odd to me, but this game was called a lot more closely than last night's was, and so part of that probably to try and keep the chippiness down from it being a physical game, and you know, hoping it doesn't get out of control. But I don't believe they make changes, but I guess we'll see for sure tomorrow, and then we'll have some idea on that. Mike, of course, asked how the ice conditions was for 70 degrees outside today. Seemed pretty good. They're out there working on it here after the game too. So Tanner says, or asked how the players pumped for tomorrow. Do you think they want to play Minnesota again? I think they would love to play Minnesota again. Also, they'd love to just keep their season going as well. So that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. We will be here after Sunday night to either talk about a win that continues the Badgers season or a loss that ends it. So, wow, drama. That's a teaser for you tomorrow. Come back and join me then. Thanks for joining me tonight. Check out the stories on madison.com, and we'll have more to come. Once again, the final here tonight, Notre Dame 3, the Badgers 2, 5 p.m. Central on Sunday for Game 3. Have a good night, everyone.